Imagine two 80-year-olds. Both worked hard for decades. Both saved for retirement. Both made responsible financial decisions. Yet one of them still lives independently. She climbs stairs without thinking about it. Carries groceries from the car. Travels when she wants. Gets up from a chair without effort. The other needs help with everyday tasks. Simple movements have become difficult. Independence has slowly been replaced by reliance on others. Same age. Similar savings. Completely different futures. What created that gap? Most people assume the answer is money. But science is revealing something unexpected. The quality of life after 70 may depend less on the size of a retirement account and more on something most people begin losing decades before they ever retire. And unlike a shrinking bank account, this loss often goes unnoticed. When people think about retirement, they usually think about finances. They calculate expenses. They invest. They worry about inflation. They wonder whether they will have enough money to last 20 or 30 years. But almost nobody asks a different question. Will my body still allow me to live the life I've been saving for? Because there are really two retirements. The financial retirement. And the physical retirement. One determines whether you can afford your lifestyle. The other determines whether you can actually live it. And for many people, the second one becomes the real challenge. Not because of bad luck. Not because of disease. But because of a slow biological change already happening right now. A change so gradual that most people never notice it. Beginning as early as your 30s, the human body starts losing muscle mass. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Just a little each year. Small enough to go unnoticed. Small enough to be ignored. But not small enough to be irrelevant. Scientists call this age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia. The name is not what matters. The consequences are. Because muscle is not just about appearance or strength. It is the system that allows independence. The ability to catch yourself if you trip. The ability to carry groceries. The ability to stand up from the floor. The ability to move through life without hesitation. And here is the danger. Most people receive almost no warning. Body weight may stay stable. Clothes may still fit. Everything may appear normal. While one of the most important biological systems slowly declines in the background. Like a retirement account losing value without a statement. Until one day, the loss becomes impossible to ignore. Muscle loss is often misunderstood as a cosmetic issue. But science shows something very different. The real issue is what happens when the body loses reserve capacity. A stumble becomes a fall. A fall becomes a fracture. A fracture becomes a hospital stay. And sometimes, that moment permanently changes a person's independence. Research consistently shows that many older adults never fully recover after serious injuries. Not because they lack willpower. But because the body no longer has enough physical reserve to rebuild what was lost. This is why muscle is not just about movement. It is about protection. Protection against frailty. Protection against disability. Protection against losing independence. But even this is only part of the story. Because muscle does far more than move the body. For decades, muscle was seen as mechanical tissue. Contract. Move. Repeat. But science has changed that view. Muscle is now understood as an active organ that communicates with the rest of the body. When it contracts, it releases signaling molecules that affect multiple systems. The brain. The heart. The liver. The immune system. Even metabolism itself. This means muscle is not just supporting movement. It is helping regulate health. And when muscle declines, the effects extend far beyond strength. One of the most important roles of muscle is energy regulation. After eating, most glucose in the bloodstream is absorbed by muscle tissue. Less muscle means less capacity to manage blood sugar efficiently. At the same time, research links muscle loss to increased inflammation, reduced metabolic health, and higher risk of chronic disease. Even brain health appears connected. Lower muscle strength has been associated with higher risk of cognitive decline later in life. What once seemed like separate aging problems may actually share a common biological foundation. And this leads to one of the most surprising discoveries in aging research. In large population studies, researchers found something striking. Grip strength, how firmly you can squeeze, is strongly associated with future health outcomes. Weaker grip strength is linked to higher risks of disability, hospitalization, and reduced longevity. Walking speed shows a similar pattern. Not because walking itself is special, but because it reflects multiple systems working together. Strength, balance, coordination, cardiovascular function, neurological control. It is, in many ways, a real-time summary of biological aging. And it reveals something important. The body keeps score. Even when we are not paying attention. For decades, health conversations have focused heavily on body weight. Lose weight. Maintain weight. Watch the scale. But the scale only shows total mass. It does not show composition. Two people can weigh the same. One may have preserved muscle. The other may have lost it. The difference is invisible on a scale. And that creates a false sense of security. Because weight loss can sometimes mean losing the very tissue that protects independence. The goal was never simply to be lighter. The goal is to remain capable. And capability is a far more important measure of aging. There is one detail that is often overlooked in the equation of aging. Muscle does not depend only on movement. It depends on maintenance. And that maintenance does not happen by chance. It happens inside the body every single day through what you consume. As we get older, the body becomes less efficient at preserving muscle mass. This means that even when someone stays active, the body needs more support to prevent gradual strength loss over time. And this is where nutrition becomes a silent but decisive factor. Among all nutrients involved in this process, protein plays a central role. It provides the essential building blocks the body uses to repair and maintain muscle tissue. Without enough intake, the natural process of muscle loss tends to accelerate, even in physically active individuals. But it is not just about quantity. Aging also changes how the body responds to food. The same dietary patterns that worked in your 30s or 40s may no longer be enough after 60. Research in aging science consistently shows that adequate nutrient intake, especially protein distributed throughout the day, is associated with better preservation of strength, mobility, and functional independence. In other words, nutrition is no longer just a general health habit. It becomes part of the structure that supports independence. Because when we talk about healthy aging, we are not only talking about living longer. We are talking about staying capable. Capable of moving safely. Capable of maintaining daily routines. Capable of living without constant dependence on others. In this context, food is not a secondary detail. It becomes biological fuel for independence. And just like any system designed to last for decades, the human body depends on the quality of what it receives every day in order to keep performing at a high level. Studies of the world's longest living populations reveal a consistent pattern. People who reach advanced ages in good health are rarely defined by structured fitness programs. Instead, they move constantly throughout life. They walk. They carry. They work with their hands. They stay physically engaged in daily routines. Movement is not an activity. It is a way of life. And without realizing it, they preserve something essential. Their physical capacity. Their independence. Their ability to remain active participants in life. If there is one conclusion emerging from modern aging science, it is this. Muscle is not cosmetic. It is not optional. It is not secondary. It is infrastructure. It supports movement. It regulates metabolism. It influences resilience. It protects independence. Most people spend decades planning their financial future. But there is another investment happening at the same time. One that determines whether those financial years can actually be lived fully. Because the most valuable asset you carry into later life is not in a bank account. It is something you have been carrying your entire life. And whether it is maintained or lost may determine the kind of future that awaits.